Historians of Reddit, what is the strangest chain of events you have studied? We learnt about this in school. In the 1950s in Borneo they were suffering from an outbreak of malaria, so, with the help of the World Health Organization, they sprayed DDT all over the island to kill the mosquitoes. But the DDT also killed the island's wasps, which helped control the population of thatch-eating caterpillars, thatch that people's homes were made of, and thanks to this, their roofs began to collapse. Many other small insects started to get affected by the DDT, which were eaten by geckos. The geckos developed a tolerance to the DDT, but the cats who ate the geckos didn't, and the cat population started to die off. This led to the island's rat population to increase greatly. And that's the story of how an island with a malaria problem led to cats being airdropped into Borneo. Cats being airdropped into Borneo. I'm picturing grey and orange tabby cats floating down with their parachutes into the jungle now. Whereas I picture two guys at the open rear of an aircraft just picking up and tossing cats out. The events that led and culminated in the War of the Bucket for sure. Essentially, one Italian state who followed Holy Roman Emperor stole a bucket from another Italian state who followed the Pope. War broke out, the Papal state highly outnumbered the HRE state, but HRE state won. Then stole another bucket. Was a trip for sure when I learned about this one. The bucket is on display in a museum in one of the cities involved. Modern citizen here. I saw the bucket. Suck it baloney. Also, not a museum, but the city's Gothic bell tower. A Chinese man wanted to create a potion to become immortal. Instead he accidentally created gunpowder. And made fireworks. And he made rockets. Pretty much the fall of the Berlin Wall. The USSR was already crumbling by this point, and so they agreed to allow the wall to be opened for a bit. Well, the guy in charge over in Berlin didn't really get the point across to the public very well, and as a result everyone assumed that the wall was permanently coming down. This led to pretty much all of East Berlin flocking to the wall and demanding to be let through. The guards there knew there was no way to restrain all these people without a massacre occurring, and the Russian government had no real way of easily fixing the huge mistake. And so the Berlin Wall fell, all because of a misinterpretation. One of my earliest memories watching it being pulled apart and people celebrating, and random David Hasselhoff. Is this why David Hasselhoff is loved by all Germans? He was loved long before that. Horses evolved in North America, spread during prehistorical times into Asia, and then later went extinct in North America. If things had been only slightly different, horses could have been native only to the Americas, or just completely extinct by prehistory. Not having horses would have made a huge difference to Asian and European history. No Mongol invasions, no European knights. They would have had to learn to ride pigs instead. That would have been amazing. Battle bears. In 1918, British MP Noel Pemberton Billing caused a major scandal when he accused actress Maud Allan and the wife of the previous Prime Minister Margot Asquith of being at the centre of a homosexual ring sabotaging the war effort. Evidence included Allan having performed in a play by Oscar Wilde, and Asquith having attended the performance. He presented his case in an article entitled The Cult of the Clitoris, in which he claimed the exiled Prince of Albania had a black book, listing all the blackmailed homosexuals in Britain. Maud Allan, who was in fact homosexual, Asquith was not sued for libel, but lost. During the trial, one witness claimed to have seen the Albanian prince's black book, and claimed that the judge's name was in it. That ending is basically a big no-you. Recent history, but it still boggles my mind. Jeri Ryan gets cast on Star Trek Voyager as 7 of 9. Jeri Ryan divorces her husband. Her ex-husband, Jack, with a really strong resume and a lot of money, announces a Senate campaign in the state of Illinois in 2004. His entry in the race is enough that it is now considered a toss-up. Because both Jeri and Jack are public figures, journalists pushed for their divorce records to be released, and a major factor in their split was Jack's desire to have sex in public locations. Jack Ryan drops out and the GOP struggles to find a replacement. This leads to an overwhelming victory from the Democratic challenger, Barack Obama. The entire Obama presidency exists because some writers in the 90s wanted a big titty Borg girl in their show. People, the interracial kiss with Uhura will be the biggest impact Star Trek has on racial equality. Jack Ryan, hold my penis in public. President Andrew Jackson was walking out of the Capitol building with his buddy Congressman Davy Crockett. A man approached them, drew a gun, but it misfired. The man drew a second gun, which also misfired. Andrew Jackson, fairly old at this point, lifted his cane and began beating the would-be assassin. Normally, people would react with justice served, but Jackson was beating him so badly that Davy Crockett had to pull Jackson off his would-be assassin, who was arrested shortly after. The would-be assassin stood trial, represented by a lawyer Francis Scott Key, author of The Star-Spangled Banner, and was the first American to be found not guilty by reason of insanity. Edit: Crockett was in the House, not the Senate. This reads like some shitty American-themed U-Woo fanfiction. The 50th season of Designated Survivor.